Hi, I'm Juliet Negbedio. I want to take you through an overview of a business plan. You may have a good idea, but if that idea is not adequately planned, it may not lead to a good action. So for you to turn your idea into an action, there must be a good plan. There are different types of business plans, but there are certain things that are common in all business plans. You may want to write a business plan to get sponsorship. You may want to write a business plan for you to win a business. But whichever way you want to get your business plan, there are certain things that are key in writing a business plan. And for you as a student, you need to know all the components of a business plan. So let's go through the components of a business plan. What are those things that we need to see in a business plan? So when you are writing a business plan, there are certain things that any person reading your business plan will want to see. First is the executive summary. The executive summary will show the gap that your product or service intend to fill. It will show the objective of why you are coming up with such product or why you are coming up with such services. It will state the vision and the mission, then the success indicator of that particular product or service that you are coming up with. Because we need to know the success indicator. What are those things that show that this particular product or service will be successful in the market? And remember that though the executive summary is the first to be written, but it is to be written after you have completed the writing of the whole plan, because it is a brief of what you have in the plan. But while presenting it, it will be first that will come up. But while you are doing the actual writing, it is the last that has to come up, because it's a summary of what you have in your plan. Then, having presented the executive summary, you need to describe the organization. One needs to know the setup of the organization. Who is the owner? How was the idea developed? How did that idea that you are trying to sell in terms of product, in terms of service, how did it come about? Then what is your startup plan? The startup plan is usually very, very important, especially for those that want to get sponsorship, because any person that wants to sponsor will want to know what your startup plans are. It is your startup plan that will enable the sponsors to know how serious that you are in that business that you are about coming up with. Then we need to know the location, the facilities you already have on ground. What is the location? What is the facility that you already have on ground? These are very important for one to look into. Then your organizational structure. What is the structure you have in place? Because from the structure, if you don't have a good structure, the structure could make or mar your business. So the sponsors or those that you want to sell your business idea to, they want to know the structure of your organization. That will determine whether they are going to get their money committed or not, or whatever thing they need to do with your business. Having done that, we need to know the product or service. What is this product that you want to sell? What is the service that you want to render? In this regard, you need to explain the product, give total explanation of the product. Somebody, if it is a product, one wants to know what is the head value, what is the benefit of this product. Because remember, that product, there are other similar products that are already in the market. There are similar services that are already in the market. So why will I go for this product? So you must be able to convince those that you want them to use this product, who are your consumers, who are the buyers, that you must be able to convince them, or the client able to convince them why they will come for that service and not go for the other service. You need to talk about the uniqueness. You need to talk about the market trend of that particular product. I will need to talk about the sustainability of that product. What is the future of that product? What is the future of that service? Because once you are not able to clarify this, it may not go a long way. People may not be interested in getting it done. Now, we have to know the market analysis. In describing the market analysis, you come up with the market segmentation. Because the market segmentation will give you a focus. Right there, you may want to focus on maybe children. That is your focus for the product you are providing, or a particular sector in the economy. Maybe your product is to service the farmers. Maybe the product is to service the teachers. Maybe the product is to service the health workers. So what is the market segmentation? It must be distinctly spelled out within your business plan. And what are the strategies for you to come up with your market segmentation? First, you have to know your consumer's need, because the needs of the consumer will help you to spell out your market segmentation. The trend and the growth of that particular product will help you to set out the market segmentation. Now, we need to know the analysis of the industry, in this case the financial analysis. For you to be able to come up with a financial analysis, one needs to know how you are going to get the flow of cash within for your business. And in coming up developing the flow of cash in business, you need to get your SWOT analysis. It's always very good for you when you are coming up with the analysis of the industry, with the analysis of the finance. Is always very, very important, because if you want to analyze your industry, you want to analyze the financial implication of your industry, get your SWOT. And what will the SWOT do for you? It will help you identify where your strengths are. It will help you identify where your weaknesses are. It will help you identify where you have the opportunity, and it will help you identify where you have the threat outside. Because in every business, remember, you will be able to know where you have your opportunity. You'll be able to know where the threats will come from, which are the external. The threats are the external, those things that we call that are not within the organization. The opportunity are the ones that will come external, that are not within your organization, whereby the strength you have is within the organization. It may be you have the idea, it may be you have the money. Then you talk about the weakness. There must be weakness. Once you're able to get this done, then you're already set to have a financial get through. Now you have to talk about the financial indicators. Why are these what are these financial indicators? Right there, you talk about the pricing. How much do you want to put on your product? How much do you want to sell a unit of your product? You need to determine that and consider it too with what you have out there in the market. Then you need to project. You need to forecast. You need to forecast how much will I sell if I start now? How much will I sell in 2 years' time, in 2 months' time? You have to project along. Then you have to project how much cash flow that will be coming in. How much product will I produce at a particular time? Once you are able to get this, you are getting along. Then you know your profit and loss. In this case, you have what we call pro forma profit and loss. Yes, you may not have started the business, but you have to project to know, well, maybe within this period, there might be some things that might come up. There might be loss, there might be gain. So you have to work it out. Then you need to know your fixed costs. What are these fixed costs? Costs that will not change, irrespective of the volume of what you are producing or the services you are providing. That is your fixed cost. Then you need to know your gross and net profit. In this regard, you see that a lot of young businessmen and women, they always make mistake. And why the first money comes up, oh, this is how much I bought this good, this is how much I sold it, so the difference is my profit. But meanwhile, you have not calculated other expenses you incurred, because you have to put all the expenses you incurred. Let's assume that you are into garri production, and in your garri production, you need to buy your cassava, you need to go to the market, you need to grind, you need to pull it together. Maybe people will help you to peel the cassava before you turn it into your garri. And while you are doing all this, you have bought Coke on the way. In one of the days you were thirsty, and you bought buns and you chew. Remember, that buns you bought, that Coke you bought, is part of the money that you have expended in that business. So until you remove all your expenses, you have not actually gotten your profit. So the actual profit is your net profit after you have removed all the expenses you incurred. But the first profit you get, where you remove, okay, I bought this good for this amount, I sold it for this amount, that is your gross profit. But the net profit is most important to any businessman. So remember that when you are deciding your profit, look into your net profit, because that is your actual profit. Then we talk about the direct cost and the indirect cost. The direct costs are the costs that you incurred for that production, the cost that you incur that will enable you come up with that product. But the indirect costs are the services costs. They are not directly involved in the production of that product or service. Again, let's use our garri production. The cost of your cassava, the cost of grinding is your direct cost. But when you now come to the cost you use in buying your Coke where you were tasting, buying water where you were tasting. Those are indirect costs. They are overhead costs that could come in. Or somebody helped you to carry the cassava while you were going to the grinder to grind it in the machine. That is indirect and overhead cost, because you could have carried it yourself, yes, but that is not directly involved in the production. So that is your overhead cost. Having said this, there is another important part that need to come in, and that is what we call the break-even analysis or the break-even point. The break-even analysis or the break-even point, you want to know what volume or units of my product will I sell that I will not run into a loss. This is very, very important when you are setting up your business. What volume will I sell? What amount of naira will I sell that I will not run into a loss? And that volume you get to, whereby you are not losing and you are not gaining, and even if you gain, it's not really significant. That is that point that we refer to as the break-even point. In the next slide, we're going to see how you calculate your break-even point. But remember that in developing your business plan, you need to have this component. And I wish you well as you go into writing your business plan.